years and 2 extra weeks, so you're I'd like to call the regular Borough Council meeting of June 27th, 2022 to order. This meeting has been properly advertised in the Home News Tribune of January 7th, 2022, according to Public Law 1975, Chapter 231. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Zambrana.
Here.
Councilwoman Newbauer.
Here.
Councilman O'Donnell.
Here.
Councilman Peretti.
Here.
Councilman Potter.
Here.
And Councilman Revelinsky.
Here.
All present.
Thank you. Please join me in standing for a moment of silence and salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. It's nice to see so many folks here tonight, so please join me and the fire chiefs, Chief Batalla, to congratulate some scholarship recipients and our new fire cadet that passed the courses. So I have some proclamations.
Good. Okay. Good evening, council members, Madam Mayor. We're here, the fire department every year runs a golf outing, and the proceeds of the golf outing used to be donated to New Jersey Autism, the Burn Center, and at one point about 10 years ago, we said let's donate to the local community and you know, kind of keep the money here in town. So we run a scholarship contest, and the kids send, applications are available, the kids fill them out along with an essay, and we have a committee that goes through all the applications. They are all redacted and blacked out, and I'm the chairman of the committee, and I give it to our members, and they come back with votes. And we're happy to announce our second place winner, the Nicole Surace Memorial Scholarship, is a young lady who attends St. Thomas Aquinas, or did attend, graduated from St. Thomas Aquinas. She was active in varsity cross country. She did a lot of work with Feeding the Hungry, Elijah's Promise, and she's going to be studying to be a speech pathologist at the University of Florida. So that would be Whitney Pepe.
And I will just say on behalf of the entire Borough Council, we say congratulations for this nice honor. We thank you for, oh, yeah, just take this.
Thank you. All right, our next recipient, this would be for the Lieutenant Charles Garbarini Scholarship, which is our #1 scholarship. Charlie was a fireman who unfortunately lost his life at 9/11. He's a FDNY member, and the department connected through an ex-member who was friendly with the family, and when 9/11 happened, we said, what can we do? And at the time, the family's tragedy obviously had struck, so we started the golf outing actually in his honor, and that's, again, where we get the money for this scholarship. So the recipient for this one is a young lady who attended Spotswood High School. She was also, both of these kids are just great. She was very active in cheerleading and track, National Honor Society. They were both very similar, great kids. Milltown should be very proud, Milltown schools should be very proud of these guys. The thing that makes this one special is her grandfather, Jack, was a councilman and spent a lot of time serving the borough of Milltown. So I want to congratulate and award this to Ali Fursell. And our last person we're going to recognize tonight, Shane, come on up. Shane Ewing is our newest member. Shane attended fire school. He went to, the minimum requirement is that you attend Fire 1, which is 200 hours. Shane got into a combination class during the day, He went from the beginning of February till the end of May, 5 days a week, like it was his job. He got not only Fire 1, but also Fire 2. It was 275 hours? Something like that. You know, and it's pretty amazing. It was like his job for months. He did a, fantastic, passed all his tests, is now certified in the state of New Jersey. If it were his job, we paid him minimum wage, we'd owe him $4,000 at this point, not including gas money back and forth. So it really is truly amazing. Milltown's volunteers go above and beyond. We appreciate his dedication. Shane, congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you from the entire council, and thanks to all of the fire department, and welcome to the Milltown Fire Department. Great, glad to have you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you all. Congratulations. Enjoy your summer.
You can stay.
They could.
Now we have another presentation. I'd like to call up Preston Smith to explain his Eagle Scout project. Hi, Preston. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Preston Smith, and I'm with Troop 33 Boy Scouts here in Milltown. I recently visited the playground at the end of North Moats, and I noticed the ground was all covered in weeds, and the edging is kind of rotten, and in some places it's just not there. So for my Eagle project, I'd kind of like to fix up the park and make it look a little more inviting. I'd like to pull the weeds out completely and cover it with mulch where needed. And I would also like to fix up the outside edging, replace the wood where it would be needed and where it just isn't. I have a few pictures of the condition if you'd like to look at them. I'll also hang around after the meeting if you want to look at them there.
Great.
And yeah, thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. You want to pass them, and we'll pass them around? Great. Anybody have any questions for Preston?
Thank you, Preston.
If not, they'll catch you at the end, right? Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now we'll move on to the approval of minutes. We have the minutes from June 13th, 2022. May I have a motion and a second?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that the minutes get approved this night.
Second. I have a motion by Councilman Potter, second by Councilman Peretti. Any comments or corrections?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I noticed a couple of comments made during the meeting were not included in the minutes, and I just wasn't sure if these were to be more verbatim or broad stroking. There were some comments regarding the proposed ordinance that's on for tonight, as well as a few other things that I made myself, and I noticed that there was no mention of them in there.
I'll ask the clerk to respond to that.
I don't do verbatim minutes, and I did listen to your, the tape again, and I take my notes accordingly, so if there's something specific that you would like me to address, we can certainly add it to the minutes before I print them. And we'll just, put your comments in verbatim. If no one has a, problem with that, we'll make that adjustment, and you'll be voting on the addition of anything that I missed.
So should we table these till the next meeting then for approval?
I
So they
think
can
you
be amended?
I think you'll be able to see the amendments. It's like, it'll be fine. I think you can vote them on, you can vote yes for tonight. Make the adjustments.
So the vote will be in favor of, and
Just subject to.
subject
the
to
change.
amendment.
It would be subject to amendments to include more specific comments from Councilman Revelinsky regarding the ordinances, as indicated.
Okay. Is that all right with you, Rich?
That'll work.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
And Rich, I will send you a copy of them prior to my final printing.
Thank you.
thank you. Next on the agenda is comments from the audience. If any member of the public wishes to speak on any of the resolutions, please identify yourself to the clerk and say your name and address for the record. These comments are limited to resolutions listed on the agenda. Seeing none, We'll close audience comments and move on to bills and claims. Will the clerk please read by title only the bill resolution 157, 2022?
Resolution 157, 2022 is authorizing the payment of bills, claims, and statements against the Borough of Milltown in the total amount of $721,607.27.
You've heard the reading of this resolution. What is your pleasure?
Madam Mayor, I move that the bill list be approved as typed.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Potter, second by Councilwoman O'Donnell. Any comments? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Zambrana.
Aye.
Councilman Newbauer.
Aye.
Councilman O'Donnell.
Aye.
Councilman Peretti.
Aye.
Councilman Potter.
Aye.
Councilman Revelinsky.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to the introduction of resolutions. When voting on resolutions, all matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and, having been reviewed by the Borough Council, will be enacted by one motion. Any item may be removed from the consent agenda at the request of any council member, and if so removed, will be treated as a separate matter. Any items requiring expenditure are supported by a certification of availability of funds. Are there any questions, or does any council person wish to pull any of the resolutions from the consent agenda?
Yes, Madam Mayor, 166, 2022.
166. Anything else?
Madam Mayor, I just have a question. I don't need to pull it. Is that okay to ask at this moment? Yes? My question has to do with 160-2020, sorry, 161-2022. Mike.
Sure.
So I saw the details, and I think I already answered my question, but the amount that's on the detail, is that all in, or could there be additional amounts to be incurred above and beyond?
No, that's total cost.
Total cost? Okay, thank you.
I guess we don't have to pull 166 if we can ask questions at this time.
Sure, go ahead.
We've never done this before, but, so last week, or I'm sorry, the previous meeting, I asked about the other liquor licenses and when the expiration date was for renewal, and I believe I was informed that it was going to be at the end of July, and that's not correct?
No, it's the end of June, and the
End
renewals
of
are
June, I'm
July
sorry.
1.
And the renewals are July 1.
That's
So at that time, there were 3 outstanding, and for this one, and all held by the same person, and I see the application for renewal of only 1 tonight. So does that mean that those other 2 that are currently pocketed licenses are going to expire and go away for good?
Nope. It means this one is the one that has been approved to complete on tonight and do a resolution for. The other 2 pockets have some missing information at the state, so they will appear on a future resolution before they are approved for renewal for 22-23.
Okay, but the town, I just want to make sure the town's not going to lose out on those licenses being available.
Well, no, and
In the
they're-
sense of active in the town.
nor will the person lose the
Right.
license at this point in time. I believe they're gonna go for sale, but, so, there's some work that's being done on them, so. yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll put 166 back, and nothing, anyone else want to pull any? So we're voting on the full consent agenda. Okay. Let's see. Here's like, there being no request to pull any resolutions, will the clerk please read the consent resolution?
Pursuant to the rules of council, the council may establish a consent agenda for any regular or special meeting, and whereas the Borough Clerk has posted a consent agenda for this meeting. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Borough Council of the Borough of Milltown, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, that the consent agenda previously prepared by the Borough Clerk be approved without the necessity of having the individual resolutions read by the Borough Clerk.
You've heard the reading of this resolution. What is your pleasure?
Move that this resolution be adopted?
Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Revelinsky, second by Councilwoman O'Donnell. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Zambrana.
Aye.
Councilwoman Newbauer.
Aye.
Councilman O'Donnell.
Aye.
Councilman Peretti.
Aye.
Councilman Potter.
Aye.
And Councilman Revelinsky.
Aye.
Motion carries to approve resolutions 158 through 160.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to ordinance introduction. There will be no public input on the introduction of ordinance 22-1514. The introduction summary will be published in the Home News Tribune on July 1st, 2022, and second reading, public hearing, and final adoption will be considered on July 18th, 2022. Full copies of the ordinance will be posted on the borough website, on the bulletin board at the municipal building, and available at no cost in the office of the municipal clerk between the hours of 8:30 a.m. and 4 p.m., Monday through Friday. Clerk Marlowe, will you please read the ordinance by title only?
22-1514, a flood preservation ordinance for adoption of the floodplain management regulations of the Borough of Milltown, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey.
May I have a motion and a second to introduce ordinance 22-1514?
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Councilman Potter, second by Councilman Revelinsky. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Zambrana?
Aye.
Councilman Newbauer? Aye. Councilman O'Donnell?
Aye.
Councilman Peretti?
Aye.
Councilman Potter?
Aye.
Councilman Revelinsky?
Aye.
Motion carries to introduce.
Okay. Next, we have the public hearing for an ordinance. This is the public hearing for ordinance 22-1512, and since introduction, full copies of ordinance 22-1512 are presently posted on the borough website, on the bulletin board at Borough Hall, and are available at no cost in the office of the municipal clerk between the hours of 8:30 a.m. and 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. Clerk Marlowe, will you please read the ordinance by title only?
22-1512, bond ordinance providing for various 2022 capital improvements and acquisitions by and in the Borough of Milltown in the County Middlesex, State of New Jersey, appropriating $1,835,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $1,723,300 bonds or notes of the borough to finance part of the cost thereof.
Thank you. May I have a motion and a second to open the public hearing for ordinance 22-1512?
So moved.
Second. I have a motion by Councilman Potter, second by Councilwoman Newbauer. The public hearing on ordinance 22-1512 is now open to any member of the public who wishes to speak on ordinance 22-1512. Okay, seeing no public input, I will ask for a motion and a second to close the public hearing for ordinance 22-1512.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Potter, second by Councilwoman O'Donnell. All in favor?
Aye.
The public hearing for ordinance 22-15 is now closed. May I have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 22-1512?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilwoman O'Donnell, second by Councilwoman Newbauer. Any further questions or comments from the council?
Yes, Madam Mayor. I'm curious when these bonds will be going up for sale and when the debt service or repayment schedule will start?
So we won't be selling bonds right away. If we do any financing, it would be temporary financing through what is a bond anticipation note. There is no plan to borrow the money or part thereof before December. So we, the way it works is that a lot of the items that were listed in the capital plan were garbage trucks and vehicles and things of which that are not readily available. So we certainly wouldn't borrow any money till we actually needed the cash.
Okay.
We do have some cash on hand, so.
Yeah, because I do have a question about the costs in here for the pool. We're anticipating about $250,000 for pool improvements included in this ordinance?
There's 125 that's in this ordinance. And the whether or not we're able to move forward, we may have to wait till next year to borrow the other half. So we wouldn't borrow the money if we're not going to use it. So we only borrow what we need.
My concern with this, and I'll share it with the rest of council, is that if the taxpayers are going to be paying for bond repayment to improve the pool, then is it this council's prerogative that the residents should be able to utilize that pool at no additional fee, and in the future move forward to eliminating the pool fees for all residents? Since we're paying for it out of our taxes, should we not be able to use it anyway, without having to buy a badge?
That's something that I think you're on the rec advisory committee, right? So that's, I believe, an issue for the rec advisory committee to.
I'd be happy
But
to
I'm
put
not
it
on the
on
finance
the,
committee, which is why I bring it up.
I'd be happy to put it on the agenda for the next rec advisory committee, and once we discuss that, we can make a recommendation to the finance committee.
But just so you all understand my concerns here, that we're going to have taxpayers paying for something that they'll then also have to pay additional fees to utilize if we still charge pool passes.
Yeah, we can also get some information about how much that expense is of the overall expense for the pool, because the membership offsets some other expenses, not just this one improvement.
But we still wind up having to fork over taxpayer dollars on a regular basis. The pool doesn't pay for itself every year, so this is something that I've asked a couple of residents about. I've thought about it long and hard, and I just don't think it's right that we wind up paying for the pool when we're paying for it out of our tax dollars, because it's not liquid at the end of the year. It's not like we make $10,000 in benefit for the town and then say, okay, well, it's okay that we're kind of funding it out of our taxes first and then getting the money back.
So, just as a comment, wouldn't it be then the taxpayers would pay more if there were no badges?
Well, it would be evenly, the cost of the pool would be evenly dispersed amongst your taxes. So the taxes might increase, but at that point, it's a benefit to all the residents in the town because now you don't have to pay for a badge out of pocket.
These are great things to discuss at the committee level, and then we'll bring the recommendation to the finance committee and discuss it further when we have more detail around it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Any other comments? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Zambrano.
Aye.
Councilwoman Newbauer. Aye. Councilman O'Donnell.
Aye.
Councilman Peretti.
Aye.
Councilman Potter.
Aye.
Councilman Revelinsky.
Aye.
Motion carries to adopt ordinance 22-15-12.
Thank you. This is the public hearing for ordinance 22-15-13, and since introduction, full copies of ordinance 22-15-13 are presently posted on the Borough website, on the bulletin board at Borough Hall, and are available at no cost in the office of the municipal clerk between the hours of 8:30 a.m. and 4 p.m., Monday through Friday. Will the clerk please read the ordinance by title only?
22-15-13, bond ordinance providing for the purchase of a pickup truck for the electric utility of the Borough of Milltown in the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, appropriating $85,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of the $85,000 bonds or notes to finance the cost thereof.
May I have a motion and a second to open the public hearing for ordinance 22-15-13?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilwoman O'Donnell, second by Councilman Potter. The public hearing on ordinance 22-15-13 is now open to any member of the public who wishes to speak on ordinance 22-15-13. Seeing that no audience comments, I'll ask for a motion and a second to close the public hearing for ordinance 22-15-13.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Councilwoman O'Donnell, second by Councilman Potter. All in favor?
Aye.
The public hearing for ordinance 22-15-13 is now closed. I'll ask for a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 22-15-13.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilwoman O'Donnell, second by Councilman Potter. Any further comments or questions from the council?
Yes, just one. Would the funds that we had in the PSE&G allotment have been able to be utilized to purchase this vehicle if those funds were still available?
I would assume so, that it was used in the past to purchase them.
And do you happen to know offhand how much money we spent on tree removal from that PSE&G fund last year?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Anything else?
No.
Anyone else? All right, seeing no further comments from the council, will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Zambrana.
Aye.
Councilman Newbauer.
Aye.
Councilman O'Donnell.
Aye.
Councilman Peretti.
Aye.
Councilman Potter.
Aye.
And Councilman Revelinsky.
Aye.
Motion carries to
All right, now we will move on to council reports. First is the Department of Public Safety, Councilman David Potter.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just 4 short reports tonight. The first report is coming from the Milltown Rescue Squad. In May, we had 106 calls 57 were from Milltown, 38 were from New Jersey Turnpike, and 11 were mutual aid. The rescue squad would like to thank everyone who participated in their annual fund drive last month. If you haven't had a chance to mail in your donation, there's still time. Please visit www.milltownrescuesquad.org today. The rescue squad also had a successful open house with record attendance. They wanted to thank the mayor and council for coming, and they look forward to seeing everyone again next year. We still have limited transportation of non-patients in ambulance until the Department of Health provides an updated guidance. We're still continuing to wear masks on calls. Hospitals are still requiring all patients and visitors to be masked, regardless of vaccination status. Anyone who's interested in learning about joining the rescue squad or becoming an EMT should mail recruitment@milltownrescuesquad.org to learn more, and they're happy to answer any questions. The rescue squad looks forward to seeing everyone on July 4th. Their annual fishing derby will be held as usual and will start at 6 a.m. in the morning. This popular family-friendly event is a great way to start your holiday with a friendly competition with prize categories for the ages of 1 to 4, 5 to 8, and 9 to 13. We do look forward to seeing that. Regarding from the Milltown Police Department, Washington Avenue will be closed on Riders Lane starting on Friday. This was supposed to be done today, however, because of the inclement weather, it was moved. As far as the Milltown Fire Department, I would personally like to congratulate the scholarship winners, Allison Forcell and Whitney Pepe, as well-deserved, and also to Shane Ewing from graduating from the Fire Academy. And Madam Mayor, 1 week from today, I'm going to have Councilwoman O'Donnell. It's the 4th of July. We have our model right here. We are 1 week away from the big day. Shirts are currently available at Mike's Country Market, Milltown Convenience, and Bagel Express. Mugs will be in the stores in the upcoming days. Please see the flyer that's been mailed to everybody. We have all the information in the back. And just to let you know, we're selling 50/50s. We have, here's a 50/50 raffle. We have an entry to also push the start button for the fireworks, no purchase necessary. And the committee has been working countless hours in prepping for this year's big day, and we can't thank them enough for what they're doing. We'd also like to thank all of our businesses and residents for your generous donations. And just to note, it's never too late to donate to keep this great tradition going. Tonight, we also have a Dine to Donate over at Maria's, where you can find us there selling shirts, 50/50s. And we look forward to seeing everybody in Milltown on July 4th. But one other thing I wanted to add, I forgot, that we new for this year is we have a patriotic bike contest. And also, too, we have our Patriotic House. Patriotic Bike Contest, Patriotic House are due Thursday, and both pictures will be taken at the park. The Patriotic Bike will be at 10 and 11, and Saturday 5 to 6, 10, 11 a.m. and 5 to 6 p.m. And of course, we have our Patriotic House, which will also be having pictures taken on Saturday. Sorry, I wanted to get that in. And we do look forward to seeing Milltown come out and celebrating our Independence Day with us on July 4th.
What about the ducks?
The ducks too, yes, you can get your ducks. Actually, Maria's is selling them a couple other places. St. Paul's is sponsoring that, so yeah, the duck race starts at 12:30. And anything else?
5K.
5K, yeah. We got our 5K. You know, why does just go through the whole thing? 6 a.m. we have our fishing derby. 7:30 the fun run. 8 a.m. the 5K. 10 o'clock the parade kickoff. 12:30 duck race at the Main Street Bridge. And then 5 o'clock we'll be starting our pizza eating contest, sponsored by Maria's, and many more vendors that'll be there. And we're going to have music on the big stage. We'll have Mr. Ray there as well. At 7 o'clock, we'll announce the opening ceremonies and the start button. The winners are announced. We have music by Groove Line this year. At 8:30, we'll have the Patriotic Cows contest, 50/50 raffle drawing. Winners will be announced. And at 9:30, be there to watch Celebration Fireworks put on our fireworks display this year. And that concludes my
Isn't
report.
Dine to Donate tonight and tomorrow?
It is tonight and tomorrow. That is correct. Tonight and tomorrow will be over at Maria's.
Okay, is that all?
That is all, Madam
Okay,
Mayor.
good.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next we'll move on to the Department of Utilities, Councilman James Peretti.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First, for the electric utility, along with daily substation checks, the electric utility has the following to report. Transformer cooling fans were checked for the recent hot weather. An outage occurred on East Lawrence Street at 3 a.m. on June 13th. The utility department responded to troubleshoot the initial call and found 25 properties without electricity. After inspection, a large broken branch was found in the backyard of a Cortlandt Street home that struck the distribution wires and blew a fuse. After an additional lineman was called in to assist, the fuse was replaced and power was restored. Several branches were noticed in the overhead wiring during an overhead patrol, and branches were subsequently removed. Verizon set a new pole on Violet Terrace so that we, the utility department, can install a new transformer and make improvements to that street. Vines were cut from a pole on Van Loo Avenue. Department members began mounting the Hometown Hero banners for the American Legion. Department members received updated training for PPE and fall protection. And the utility department worked with the billing department to rectify billing issues and replace malfunctioning meters. One electric meter was replaced. And the utility department would like to remind the public that electrical meters are to be accessible to meter readers. We are encountering many properties with locked gates prohibiting access. Please trim vegetation in front of meters. Overgrown bushes limit access, conceal potential bees nests, and can cause estimated bills. Residents are always reminded that they can fill out their monthly reading cards and submit them to the billing department, or residents can take pictures of their electric or water meters and send them directly to the department to the following email address: ahamm@milltownborough.com. That's aham@milltownborough.com. Cards are available at the billing office or can be delivered to your mailbox upon request. For the water and sewer report, along with the daily work orders, markouts, and emergency markouts, the department has the following to report. The department had a call on Yarnell and North Main of a sewer backup. Upon inspection of the main, the department found a collapse, and the water department managed to temporarily open the blockage until a contractor could be brought in to replace that section of the main. Postcards concerning the yearly water report have been received in homes, and the hard copies of the water report are available from the water department in all public buildings. Members of the water department have been attending trainings such as flagger training, which pertains to traffic control. Please check Channel 15 and milltownnj.org for additional updates. And that concludes my reports.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to the Department of Public Works and Recycling, Councilwoman Anna Newbauer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I only have 3 short reports tonight. The first one is from the DPW. Along with all regular sanitation collections and curbside bulk collections, the DPW has the following to report. The DPW assisted in all facets of the preparation of the pool to assure a successful opening. Tree removal is ongoing as manpower permits throughout town. Preparations for the July 4th celebration has begun and will continue until completed. Road repair has taken place on Bruce Court, Violet Terrace, and Albert Avenue. All new LED lights have been installed at the senior center. And 2 reminders. First, July 4th trash collection will take place on Tuesday, July 5th. And second, concrete collection is scheduled for July 11th through July 15th. Please call the borough's main line at extension 187 to schedule a pickup for any concrete collection. Please check Channel 15 and milltownnj.org for any further DPW updates. And for the rescue squad, I now have an official report. I did fail to mention last meeting that I'd like to wish congratulations to the juniors down at the Milltown Rescue Squad for bringing home the 2nd place prize at the 7th annual Bayshore EMS Cadet and Youth Competition. I know that they've been going down there every year, and I know that they win quite often. They had too many trophies, apparently,
That's
so
great.
during
Good for them.
the open house, they were telling everyone how they had to actually take apart their trophies and just save the placards. And then finally, for the Board of Health, we haven't had our meeting yet for this month. Our meeting is actually tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. down here at Borough Hall.
Okay,
And that's all. Thank you.
thank you. Next, we'll go to the Department of Recreation, Councilwoman Margaret O'Donnell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm going to start with the library report. Summer reading kicked off on Saturday, June 18th, with some reading by celebrity guest reader,
It was very
Mayor
fun.
Mayor.
Very nice, very well done by the library.
And everyone from children to adults can participate in that. Very excited about that at the library. Youth programs, the walking club, and community programs are all going smoothly. The library was closed for a few hours today. I was one of the people who reached out and tried to open the doors, but that was related to a utility emergency, and the library, I'm happy to report, has reopened at this point. One of the things that you can do when you head over to the library is get your new library card that has a nice historic picture of Milltown on it. The next meeting will be July 12th, and we should have some exciting news about a new hire at the library to share with you after that meeting. And one other thing, circulation is up 12%, so we're already seeing more people, but if you haven't been, come to the library. For the Rec Advisory Committee, we meet at 7 o'clock on the third Wednesdays, and at our last meeting, we had a resident attend who shared some concern about the number of programs for youth and the price at the point that they're available at. So we spent a good portion of that meeting discussing his concerns. But we also discussed some new programs that are on the way, and I'll mention that when I read the department's report and so forth, but we do encourage residents to share questions, comments, and concerns at these type of meetings, and we already know what one of the agenda items will be for the next meeting, so we hope that you'll come out and join us for that. I also will have an item for new business related to the Rec Advisory Committee. The report from the department itself is that borough families, please visit the recreation webpage to sign up for pool badges and summer programs using Community Pass. The borough pool opened on Saturday, June 18th. It was a beautiful but windy and a little bit cool day. Lifeguards and staff are prepared as we embark on a successful 2022 pool season. Any questions, concerns, residents are encouraged to stop by the lifeguard headquarters in the small blue house inside the pool for any assistance you may need. Also, please visit Community Pass for additional summer programs that will include, and you're gonna love these, you're gonna wish you were a kid, Mad Science, Magic Explorers, Young Rembrandt's Drawing Program, and a new youth basketball camp. An additional program is being developed as well. Albert Avenue Summer Camp will be starting Wednesday, July 6th, and there are 171 children signed up, and they're prepared to make it a special summer for them. Amanda Vaca will be returning as the site director. We'd like to thank Jennifer Ewing and her team for the successful SAC programming for the past several years and wish the school district much success with their new launch. Milltown Recreation is prepared to conduct some new after-school programming, so watch for that in the fall. And please continue to make Milltown Recreation a thriving community in motion. And then I want to conclude my reports with mentioning the Historic Preservation Committee. That is a committee that meets via Zoom on the fourth Thursdays at 6:30. Randy Ruth is the chair of the committee, and we discussed his biannual presentation that took place recently here at the council meeting. The committee is looking for anyone who has written or confirmed history of the Main Street Firehouse outbuildings. So those are the couple of buildings that are behind and next to the former firehouse there. And much of our discussion at that last meeting was around the Raritan River Railroad and its spurs, its ownership, its title, and so forth. Very active and enthusiastic discussion, and the next meeting will be on July 28th. And that concludes my reports.
Great, thank you. Next, we go to the Department of Environmental Health and Social Services. Councilman Rich Revelinsky.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. In regards to a report this evening, we actually had our Environmental Commission meeting pushed a week, so that will be this Wednesday. thank you to our Borough Attorney, Mr. Vignola, who sent over a draft version of our invasive species ordinance, which has been sent around to the other committee members, and we're hoping to have a good discussion on that and possibly introduce that in July. In addition to that, based on our discussions at the last meeting, I'll be asking the Environmental Commission to please put together a checklist of bullet points so that we can discuss actions to be taken or that they want to undertake over at the Schwendeman property, so we can start preserving some of the building over there and moving forward, and then we'll be able to discuss more thoroughly with the DPW staff and with Ms. Larison. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Next, we'll move to the Department of Finance, Administration, and Planning. Council President Phil Zambrana.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Have a very short report from the Senior Center, just to say that this coming Thursday, the 30th, Jeanette and I at noon will be meeting with the seniors for our monthly or bi-monthly wrap session. This meeting is open to all the seniors, and all are welcome, and there is no sign-up that is required. This report also from Director Debbie Cuddy just wants to remind everyone that as they do every month, there are classes and activities scheduled every day. Best way to find out what those activities or classes are, or to either call Debbie at 732-296-0681, or actually go to the website, go to milltownborough.org or milltownnj.org, navigate to the Milltown Senior Center pages, and you'll see some of the classes that are offered. That concludes my report there.
When was the rep session? I missed the date.
It will be this Thursday, June 30th
thank
at 12 noon.
Gotcha.
Ford Avenue, this month's meeting was canceled. I do have an email into Ford Avenue Redevelopment Agency Council, Jim Cahill, he was away, to see about going to meet with the magistrate as a follow-up meeting in July. As you recall, as most folks will recall who were at the meetings, the mayor, myself, and Jeanette did go up to Trenton to meet with all the stakeholders. The next action item was a new appraisal that was supposed to be forwarded by the owner of Ford Avenue. That has been done. Upon that submission of that report, the magistrate was going to get together with all the stakeholders to then schedule another meeting. So we'll keep everybody informed on that. I have no finance report tonight. I want to just give a short revitalization committee meeting update. Last meeting was held on June 14th. There were 4 attendees. The committee is diligently working towards Milltown Day, which again is the first Saturday in October, and as more items become available, more information becomes available, we'll make sure that it's all posted on our website and communicated to the residents. And that concludes my report.
Great, thank you. Administrator, report, anything this evening?
I just want to say, I wish everybody a happy 4th of July, and I'm sure it's going to be a very successful event. Looks like the weather's going to be great, and I know that you're anxious to have a full-blown event outside of COVID now,
Yep.
so good luck and enjoy to everyone.
Thank you, thank you. Engineer, Mr. McClellan?
Just a short report tonight, Madam Mayor. First is on update on Chestnut Street in Highland. The remaining work is really just the trench restoration. We will try to get that done as soon as possible. Regarding Hagen Contain, we've been reporting at every meeting to keep both the council and the residents there advised. Precast inlets have been delivered, which is good news. Reinforced concrete pipe is anticipated in 2 to 3 weeks. Because of the supply chain issues, it's taken a long time to get this equipment, so another 2 to 3 weeks and we should have them out there started. Good news too, Musco's advised that they'll be basically the week of the 11th providing material delivery and construction start. So we will coordinate with Ralph Jazanowski to go through and make sure that everybody's prepared for that to happen. And lastly, we were asked to check on the PSE&G status. They've requested a project update meeting with Ralph Jazanowski after July 11th to go over the remaining work and Milltown. So that's what we have for you tonight.
Mike, real quick,
Sure.
that Musco, that's the
That
Little
is
League
that.
Lakes.
That's
Yes,
exactly
so
right.
July 11th.
The week of July 11th, that's right.
Perfect.
And the PSC&G meeting is to say what they have left to do?
Well,
correct?
there's issues on restoration with regard to what they're going to pay for, what they're going to go through and do. Ralph's been coordinating with them, and we just checked on it. We were asked to check on it, so we thought we'd report tonight. Okay?
Thank you.
Mike, with regard to Musco, will any of that work interfere with use of the current Major League field? And the only reason I ask is I know we're in district play now, and I'm not sure when that ends, but I know it's a short period of time. I'm just wondering if, they're gonna be out there doing work, if that's gonna interfere at all with taking up spaces or anything like that, or obstruction of the existing field. I would think not, but just...
Yeah, that's the reason for the coordination. We've been talking to Musco for some time and with Ralph and the folks over there. But I want to have one more run at it to make sure that there isn't any kind of impact.
Okay.
It's a question of where we store the poles, how they handle their work. So the idea is to keep things going and not impact the work or the play.
No, I understood. My kid is playing on them. Believe it or not, no problem. Anyone else have a kid up here playing? No, so that's why it pops in my head.
You coordinated with the Little League
I
board,
mean,
right?
Yeah.
If to a point, districts is somewhat wasn't thought about as back then, but I do think that it should be done.
It should be wrapping up around that
close,
point,
But
yeah.
yes, I know Mike will be talking with Ralph and Doug
That's right.
Redondo, president of the
They'll be
league, to
flexible.
make sure.
We don't want to mess up the district.
Right.
Yeah, I just wanted to, kind of highlight that point. Thanks, Mike.
The good news is it's coming.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And that, attorney, Mr. Vignola, anything?
Only as Councilman Revelinsky noted, I did get a draft of the invasive species ordinance over to him, so it can be considered by the Environmental Commission. I look forward to their input. I'm learning a lot about various plant species and what they are, both common and, Latin name, and I look forward to them providing me with an even more robust list.
Well, feel free to come and look in my backyard for all the invasive.
I just want you to understand, if the ordinance does proceed the way it is, you better keep those things on your property. Otherwise, you're gonna have a problem.
And actually, Mr. Vignola, that does bring up one of the points that we'll speak to after, but
Sure.
it was in regards to what do we do, because I know one of them was for Phragmites, which are existing on a lot of borough property, but are extremely difficult to eradicate. And I'm just wondering how that ordinance might impact the borough's facilities, if we have to try and eradicate
Well, I mean,
some species.
Technically, you would probably, as a goal, want to have those eradicated, but certainly, generally, municipalities aren't subject to the same enforcement of their ordinances the way that the public is.
So we're finding ourselves at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
It's really not a good use of your time and money, but generally, if there's an ability to eradicate those, you would want to look to do that.
Appreciate it.
Maybe the Environmental Commission could help in, identifying all the spots and, what we need to do.
That could be like, one of the projects they do on annual, biannual basis, maybe going in and trying to take care of those as well.
Or an Eagle Scout, if they're so desired or inclined. Wink, wink.
I didn't know. Listen, the park he's targeted, is the park I went to growing up, so I'm really excited to see somebody looking at that again.
Yep, thank you. And hearing Mr. Vignola's report, seeing you reminds me to say, again, congratulations to the graduates. You had two, one from 8th grade, one from Spotswood. Sorry we were here at the 8th grade one, but I was last week at the Spotswood graduation, and to all of the graduates from Milltown, whether it be the public schools, private schools, college, we wish you all success in all your endeavors, and so congratulations to your family. Pete. So now on to my report. I don't really have anything. I will remind everyone that now that it's summer, we'll be going for July and August to just one meeting a month. So the next meeting will be on the 18th of July. So we'll look forward to seeing you then. And I certainly look forward to seeing everyone out and around next Monday. All of the council members will be involved, and we're looking forward to it. And I thank all of the borough employees who do so much work to help prepare for the day and work so well with the 4th of July committee, so it's much appreciated. So thank you, and I hope you all enjoy your summer vacations. With that, we'll move on to old business. Does any member of the council have any old business to bring before the council this evening?
Just one for me, if anyone else, no takers, whatever, I jumped the gun here. The trestle, the old train trestle. We've brought it up in the past, and I'm wondering where we are with that. I was out on my canoe, I want to say about a week or so ago, around 9 o'clock at night, and had the pleasure of watching some teenagers, by the light of their cell phone, cross that trestle. that is missing boards and has rotting boards, and all I could think was, plop. Good thing I'm out here and might be able to catch them. I think it's at a point now where it's a detriment. I think it's a hazard. And I'm wondering what, if anything, we can do to address it, because watching those guys, it just takes 1 second of not paying attention for someone to fall in. And, you know, there's all metal underneath there, and there's shallow rocks. I just keep thinking about a cracked head and lying face down in the water and no one there.
So, yeah, and I remember, when we've talked about this several times, right? So the question is, are you bringing back to?
Well, I'm bringing it up because
What
we've
the
talked
borough
about it in the
did.
past and what we can do to address it, because I don't know if the current property owner has been fined, what the status of those violations are, what reasonable abatement would be.
Wait, I'm
I
sorry.
know it's accessible, and
we
and
find
a lot of
out-
people use it to cut through, but at the same time,
So
It's
it's partly
dangerous.
a public safety issue as well, correct?
Yeah, I was gonna suggest I can talk to Chief Kennelly to see what we can do to, first of all, close it off. Look into doing that so nobody can cross it temporarily right now. I can
Until we
talk to him
can
about it.
address it further to ask.
yeah, I mean, and I think that's where we are, and I appreciate, Dave, your offer, Councilman Potter, to have the chief look at that, but it really does, I mean, people are so used to crossing that thing, that at this point, it really makes me nervous. They're gonna find a way to get around the fence or any sort of guard we put up or caution tape, that, you know, I'd like to really start putting some more action and pressure on to address that and make it safe.
Some remediation to make it safe.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so that would be either, you know, DPW or somebody, so I think we'll talk off, you know, we'll discuss what we can, who's gonna, you know, take the first step to, you know, sort of either block it off or make it safe, and then we'll have to have, code enforcement or someone look into contacting, either trying to contact again, or what we can do, just to, address the immediate, safety concerns.
Yeah, I mean,
The Historic Preservation Committee has a lot of interest in this area and would love to be part of any discussion about it. Their focus being a little bit more on the preservation end, but the reason I bring that up also is that they have done a lot of research, not officially paid for, you know, title search, but it doesn't seem to be clear whose ownership it is.
That's what
Right,
I was
we've
gonna
talked
ask, if
about
we
that.
ever
So-
officially found out who owns the trestle bridge.
Yeah, so we may have to look at allocating funds to do an official title search and identify who the ownership is to determine who can act on it.
Yep. Yeah, all the things that we've talked about, and, you know,
What committee do you think that belongs
That's a
in,
good
or is it a
question.
department thing?
probably finance minute, because it's partly maybe code enforcement, partly finance and spending for the, yeah, so. I think we have a various bunch of hands in this one. We all want to see it get taken care of.
We got, I mean, you know, I saw it, it's the beginning of summer, and of course, the kids are out later than usual, and, you know, I just keep thinking, like, if my kid thinks he's gonna go over to Dunkin' Donuts and take that route,
Yeah.
you know, he's gonna come home to quite a surprise if I find out he's walking across that. Everett, if you're listening at home, don't walk across the trestle. But it makes me nervous with, you know, kids are out, they're playing, it's a safe town, I'd hate to see something happen, especially during the summertime for a kid who's on his way to the pool, or
I was
just,
afraid to cross it when I was a kid, and it was in perfectly fine shape.
as we're talking, my stomach's turning, so.
Exactly. Exactly. Anything else? Anybody? Rich? James? Anna? Bill? Margaret? Dave? No whole business. Okay. Now we'll move on to new business. Does any member of the council have any new business to bring before us this evening?
I do. I alluded to this in my Recreation Advisory Committee report. The Recreation Advisory Committee respectfully requests that the council revisit the existing communication policy, especially the part that prohibits the use of Facebook. You know, there's not been a formal survey of participants, but anecdotal evidence indicates that most people are hearing about recreation programs via Facebook. They're looking for information on Facebook, and everything sort of turns back to how much everyone hates Facebook but uses it anyway. We're not, again, I wasn't sure which committee to direct that to, but they'd like for us to take a look at that.
So I'll just throw this over to the BA, because I know that there's some work being done on the website, so hopefully that can be something that's addressed in
I'll look
conjunction.
into
I'm
a
not
new
sure which.
policy for that.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll check in with you before the next rec advisory committee meeting so I can update them. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Seeing one. Yeah, one more comment. It's come up a few times. And I did a little bit of research regarding food truck ordinance. I know I asked Mr. Vignolo, he thought there was none. I did ask our code enforcement official, and he cited an ordinance that says that food trucks are prohibited. And I'm wondering about this council's palate to reopen that ordinance to permit food trucks in town, whether they were on private property or on public streets, and what an ordinance might look like. But before we even go down the rabbit hole of getting into details, I'd like to know if anyone's even interested in evaluating this, because I think we're missing out on some potential revenue streams and or advertising, business development sort of things for the borough with all the folks that pass through here in the summertime.
So the question I have is, what's the purpose and the scope of the existing food truck ordinance?
From what I was told by our code enforcement official, they're banned. They're not allowed.
Yeah, but how,
Just
do we
blanket,
know
not allowed food trucks.
when and why and how that was crafted?
I do not know when, how, why. And frankly, I mean, it's, typically, it's not an accessory use for any traditional site. So if you had a restaurant, you wouldn't typically have a food truck there. Or if you had another business, if you wanted to bring a food truck in, you would need to have a designated area. You'd have to, figure out what, type of traffic it would generate. It would be, something that you might want to consider and come up with parameters for. But I think most likely what happened was during the infancy of food trucks, someone decided that we didn't want to deal with them and said, well, we're just not going to have them, and that we don't have to figure out how we're going to regulate them. So we can certainly look to other places. I work in a number of municipalities that have decided to allow them and regulate them. What they've done is necessarily create sections of the town where they can exist on public streets on particular days, so that you create kind of a food truck court on, a Thursday or a Friday or a Saturday, Sunday afternoon, any or all of the above. But to have them on private property is a more difficult item to regulate, because typically you already have another use on that property that is going to have its own site plan, its own set of standards, its own parking, and then you have to figure out how you're going to integrate that food truck use and what it's going to generate into that as well.
So the food trucks that, and the other towns are on the public property, the town?
Typically on public property. You'll see them, I think Highland Park has a section just off of Route 27 where they have like a farmer's market and food trucks on a weekly basis. So those are the types of things you'll usually see. The ability for a food truck to go and occupy a portion of a city, to just on a regular basis, pull up, park, and operate is something that could conceivably happen, but you'd have to decide, where you want it to happen and how you want it to happen.
I know, like, for example, Belmar does a seafood festival, which is just full of food trucks, and I believe that's on public land. But then there's also other locations that have it where they want to host a food truck festival because it brings in a lot of people into the town for the day. So I know one gentleman I was talking to was saying that there's a matter of exchanging money versus if I were to have a private party or a private event and paid for a food truck to be there to give out food to the folks at my event, that's permissible. However, if I were to have a food truck there and invite folks to come in, and whether it was a fundraising day, that would not be, other than a designated special event permit, which I believe we utilize for the 4th of July. So, again, just, thinking outside the box of ways to attract more businesses to come in. Perhaps some of these restaurants or smaller restaurants, food trucks, if they find that Milltown's an attractive place to do business, maybe they want to actually set up a restaurant and help, revitalize our downtown.
Understood? I mean,
So we have a fairly consensus here to look into it and
I would
reopen.
say I'll let the council speak. I have no say in this. I was about to say.
Yeah. No, I would say unless seeing the negative, I would think, yeah,
I
worth
think
revisiting.
it's certainly worth looking into what the other towns do and trying to see if we can come up with.
Great, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Great. Anyone else? Any new business? Seeing none, I'll close new business and move on to audience comments. The public comment portion of our meeting is to allow the public to bring to the council's attention their concerns or comments. The council will respect the public's time by refraining any comment until the speaker has finished. It should be further noted, the public comment portion of our meeting is not structured as a question and answer session. If a member of the public has questions they seek answers to, an appointment can be made with the appropriate office during regular business hours or with a member of council during their allotted office meeting hours. Please state your name and address for the record when you come to the podium. All quiet. Oh, come on up. Don't all jump up.
Hi, my name's Joanne Goff. I live at 100 JFK Drive in Milltown. I just want to address an issue we had last week at Michelin Park. Baseballs are being hit into the playground area, and we asked them to stop. I don't know if there's a way we can get higher fences or netting around the shorter fences that are there. 3 families had to leave the park because they refused to stop hitting balls.
So was it a game or just people that were practicing? Or
Practicing.
Just practicing. And it's the park all the way?
A ball actually hit, the park, the tunnel, the blue tunnel, where 2 kids were getting ready to go in the tunnel. Just a smack ball. One father had his kid in a swing. He had to take him out. He yelled at them. He left. I decided to take the 2 kids I was watching, start leaving. I was putting the 8-month-old in a stroller. I hear heads up for the first time. I'm looking up. I didn't even know where the ball was.
I thought we had.
So we have higher fencing right field, but you're right, in center field and left field, the fencing goes down, so that's something I can talk to Ralph about.
He was
Yeah.
hitting them right, center, and left.
Yeah.
At the end, there was 15 balls collected by them and threw back over the fence. 2 balls were in yards that could not be retrieved. My issue is, what can we do? Because I'm not going to not take a kid to a park where it's a park and fear for their safety. Even after I yelled up there, hey, enough, they continued to go on.
May I ask, were they hitting it from home plate?
Yes.
Wow.
Were they young?
It's like-
No, I'm just saying, that's impressive. I know I can't do it.
From what I understand, it's a father-son,
Okay,
and the son is high school.
okay.
Yeah, that's a lot of.
So you're not the first resident who's,
I know calls have been made.
yeah, so,
about it.
it's been brought to the attention of several of the departments and committees as well.
Okay.
So I can tell you what's been done so far. They've looked into getting either a taller fence or extending netting and so forth. And unfortunately, the vendors are not even bidding on it. It's not even that it's price prohibitive. They're not bidding on it. It's not the kind of work that they want. So I know the Recreation Department has tried to limit the time, the type of park registration or park use, so that it's not people that are capable of, hitting it that far. But what I hadn't heard was that it was in practice. I had heard something about a game between high school students and that's the only
No, it was
park
2
rental.
people. It was 2
Okay.
people, and it's
So
not
I'd
the
like-
first time.
Yeah, I'd like to take that information back to the combination recreation director, DPW director, and see what we can do. Maybe actually, Mr. Vignola, is there any way to prohibit someone's use of?
I mean, I'd have to look into the park regulations and see what we do or don't allow people to do
Yeah.
with, it's a baseball
Open
field
park,
that,
yeah,
and
Yeah, we were told we can't stop them at debate, which I understand, and then
we'll
give some kind
definitely
of
check
safety
that
to the
further.
children at the park.
Yeah, we'll definitely check into that further. And I know you announced your name and your address, so I'll get that information.
I also put a complaint in or safety on the website, whatever it is.
Report of concern.
On Friday, but I have not got a phone call or an email regarding it, so I don't know if anybody got it.
Anything that came in on Friday, I haven't heard yet,
Okay.
and I usually hear pretty quickly when it
Well, just to let
involves
you know, so I
my
figured-
committee. But if the contact information is there, that's where I'll get it
Yes.
from, so
Yes.
to circle back to you.
And-
Thank you for bringing it to our
Okay.
attention.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Patricia Payne. I live at 2 Carina Drive in Milltown. I came to talk about just a couple of things tonight, and when I pulled in the parking lot and I saw the fire truck, I was really happy because Chief Batalo was one of my former students. I teach at Middlesex County College. So when I see him in action, with firefighter friends, I feel so honored, to be living in the town that we live in. I often don't think about our firefighters as being volunteer. I often don't think about the first aid squad as being volunteer. I just think of them as, part of our township, like I think about the police or DPW. It's just a part of the fabric, right, of our town. And some of the comments tonight made me think about the uniqueness of Milltown and how grateful I am for being, a taxpayer for the last 23 years, and things like the pool. I've had a pool membership for the last 23 years. It was a godsend when the kids were little. We went to the pool all the time. It was a big part of our summer. I even, maintained a membership when the pool wasn't so cool, right? They get to a stage, right? The kids get to a stage where it's not so cool anymore, right? And then things started to change as they got older, right? My son Dan became a lifeguard, and now he manages. He's one of the managers of the pool, and he really takes a great deal of pride in making sure that pool, is the place to go. I was there on the weekend. It was jam-packed. It was like, where's Waldo? Because I was like, where's Dan? That's how jammed it was. It's a privilege to live in a town that has a borough pool, because there's not many towns that provide that. And I never once in 23 years questioned whether or not the pool turned a profit. It was never a concern. Like, it's not a concern about the public library or the Albert Avenue rec programs, that I sent my kids to for many years, or 4th of July. I never asked Dave Potter, how much money does the 4th of July committee make? It's what we do as a town, right? 4th of July is what we do. So I really just wanted to say that I've been out walking since the weather has gotten really nice, and Main Street looks amazing. I was here at the last time I was here talking about just potting the flowers, right? And what I also noticed was many of the small businesses are also on their own, or have put out plants and decorations. And I really feel proud when I walk down Main Street or I drive down Main Street. People come here to Milltown for its uniqueness, and I hope we never lose that, in anything that we do. So thank you. I just want to say thank you to the council for all the good work that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes.
Apologize for my attire. Thank Councilman Revelinsky for bringing up the railroad bridge. I really appreciate that. That's an issue, an ongoing issue.
Can you give your name first, John?
John Collins, 39 Brook Drive, Milltown, New Jersey, 08850. How's that? I appreciate it because that's also it encourages flooding in the borough also. So I think that's a real problem that needs to be addressed. The other question I had is about taxes. We got $1 million extra in state aid that we've never got before, and yet we're still raising taxes $30. That doesn't make sense to me.
Was that a question or just a whatever?
I just want to make one
Go ahead.
comment.
Sure.
We didn't get an additional $1 million in state aid, so.
For the water line.
But you can't use it to offset taxes.
That was, so we used that to improve some of our infrastructure. otherwise, if we hadn't gotten that, we wouldn't be able to do the water lines. And I do hear that I've heard back from the folks on Chestnut Street that they are thrilled that they finally have water pressure. So,
Thank you, Mayor.
anyone else? Seeing none, I will close audience comments and ask for any final council comments. Does any member of the council have any final comments?
Just one on behalf of Russ Einbinder, who asked me to mention it, and I'll gladly do so. 4th of July is coming. Patriotic Bike Contest, don't forget about it, Patriotic House Contest, and the pizza eating contest. Russ, out of curiosity, thumbs up, thumbs down, are motorcycles included in the Patriotic Bike Contest?
I don't believe so, sir.
That's a thumbs down.
But it's not limited to children, anybody who wants to enter.
Anyone else?
We just look forward to seeing everybody on July 4th, and thank you in advance to DPW and all the borough workers, police, fire, and rescue for all of your assistance on that day and leading up to it as well.
I have just one thing. I have one person that constantly tells me that she watches me on the council meetings every week that we have one. And I just wanted to wish a happy early birthday to Shirley Capella. She's my grandmother who lives on 76 Borough Road. So happy birthday, Nanny. I love you.
Happy birthday, Shirley. Enjoy. And thank you to all of the 4th of July committee. We have 2 very important, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe, people that are involved, and they all do a fantastic job, and I know they're super busy this week, but the town really appreciates all of your efforts, so thank you. Anybody else?
We look forward to reporting afterwards.
Yep.
Having a successful day. Yeah, head to Maria's now.
Anyone else? If not, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Have a motion by Councilman Potter, second by Councilman Revelinsky. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you all. Good night.